Welcome back to the greenhouse today, everybody. If you're new here, welcome aboard. We've got our tunnel set up and we've just got hoops down on this end. We've got about a 25-foot tunnel over here. We've transplanted some kales and some heading collards, lots of little things coming. We've got a ton of crops still yet to plant, along with seeds and transplants from our small greenhouse and some that we have on the floor in here. Now, if that sounds interesting, please consider subscribing. We're going to cover basically what grew best, what didn't grow, and what we had the most success with here, and how we're surviving in a polytunnel in the middle of winter zone 5A, 4B. We're right on the edge, and we see some really harsh temperatures, especially with polar vortexes that almost everybody experiences. So I'm always calling this my greenhouse, but technically it's just a polytunnel. To us, it's our greenhouse. It's the greenhouse sitting in our yard. So we call it greenhouse. This is technically just a polytunnel, and it's very hard to survive. So every little bit we do counts. We have tons of systems and operations that we perform year over year. This is like our 6th year growing in this greenhouse. Our 6-year poly is at almost its lifespan. So we are going to have to rebuild and take all the skins off by next summer. So we want to get as much use as we can out of these polytunnels by growing year-round and using the greenhouse year-round, winter, summer, all of them. So what grew best for us? Since we've got better soil now, we don't have to just grow hard cabbages or kales and root crops, because that was the only thing that could really penetrate our soil, as we've had years of enabling good growth. We dug some of this up, we did a trench, and we saw lots of life. And that is the #1 indicator of good soil, is having life. Little critters, worms, all of the good stuff that is in good, healthy living soil. So what grew best for us with decent soil is tons of greens. I mean, all the lettuces do well. Most of the lettuces do well, I should say. Our Bib Butterhead lettuce is a little bit more delicate, and it didn't like going down to 45 degrees, which was the lowest temperature we saw when it was about -40, -50 with our Arctic blast. And that's with running a stove, compost heater, solar-powered heating systems, and geothermal. So it is tough to survive in a polytunnel, but it can be done. So there's a bunch of different kinds of kales. There's heading collards. All of the brassica family does very well. Cabbages, broccoli, all of the like. We've got little mustard starts that we saved our own seeds from. We're going to be transplanting in corn salad or mache. That does pretty well in the cold, and it's a very good crop. The critters like to eat it though. So that's one thing we observed, is that they were kind of picking off, and we were drawing them to that. So we're going to try and protect our mache with onions and leeks and stuff to kind of prevent the pests from getting in there. So planting leeks, onions, ramps, anything you can pretty much grow that is an onion will survive most of the winter. Our perennial leeks do very well, so we like to put a lot of our chives, onions, leeks. We have some more leeks down here that are in the ground already. Egyptian walking onions do very well, and all of those are good pest preventatives because of the sulfur smell in their skin. When you damage them, or just by them growing, it deters pests away from those leafy green crops, acting as a natural pest repellent. Cilantro, 7-top turnips, a couple other varieties did very well for us. Mainly leafy greens, because we're not getting any fruiting vegetables, tomatoes or cucumbers, because we just don't have enough light, even with our supplemental light from our grow lights that we put up in the tunnels here. So that is another element of this that will be coming next after everything is planted up. So some things that we had success with until it started getting to those very low light and very cold temperatures was peas and Swiss chard. Beets did well, Swiss chard did not. And some of our tatsoys did rather well too, and I didn't have enough growing, like mustard tatsoy and the purple tatsoy. They did really well. They don't really like the high moisture conditions because we close up the doors, and we don't vent a whole lot of moisture because we want to keep everything, all the heat, everything sealed up. The only time we open the doors is if it's warm enough that we can vent for a half an hour without it getting too cold, and then we close our doors back up. Everything's sealed up all winter. So the tatsoys did do very well. We just ate them all before we could actually see how well they grew through the entirety of the winter. Now, I've thrown a lot of plants out there that will grow and some that don't do so well, but there's a lot more that I'm not hitting. You can experiment with tons of crops. We like to do a very diverse grow in the greenhouse because you might find success with 1, 2, maybe 10 varieties, but you're going to have failure with 1, 2, or 10 varieties. So you want to diversify what you are growing so you are guaranteed some type of success throughout a winter grow, and that is what I've learned over the years. Growing through the winter is much different than growing in summer. You don't have the ambient heat, you don't have all the light, so we've added a little bit of supplemental light, costing us maybe $10 to $15 a month to run a string of grow lights, and that's really all we do for a bill. Now, if we can get away with $60 worth of expenses in lighting for 5 to 6 months a year, I'm okay with that. That is the only bill we have in the greenhouse. Everything else is solar power ran. And don't forget about your perennial herbs. We've got tons: oregano, sage, rosemary. We've got a lot of elderberries, coneflower. We've got our eastern prickly cactus. Those are all zone hardy, and I bring them all in, and I've got them in this bed over to the side here, just kind of mulling over for winter so we can pull them back out, have access to them all winter. I have a huge, like 5-year-old rosemary bush behind the camera here that's always been in here, and it's survived every winter. I want to run over the crops that I'm going to plant today and give a general consensus and show what we've got going on here with these tunnels. So let's take a look real fast. We've got tons of crops here, from lettuces to spinaches to lettuce mixes to cabbages, all types of different stuff here. And those are just some random seeds that I had. I've always got thousands and thousands of packets, especially at the end of the season here. We've got some onions, more lettuces, and we've got some broccoli, even though you might not develop a full head. That was my bib butterhead lettuce. Not going to grow any of that. We've got Lucillus Chard here. This is a white chard. That did decently for us. We've got perpetual chard spinach. These are all seeds that we've saved ourselves, hence why they're in baggies like this. So those chards do very well. We've got tatsoi seeds we saved. We've got our own red lettuce we saved seeds from. We've got, that says mustard inside there. So we've got a whole bunch of mustard seeds, mustard greens. We've got some flat kale. We've got curly kale. We've got 7 top turnips. We've got a ton of these seeds. We saved all these ourselves. And I got some regular globe top turnips, plus a ton of other varieties that we've got growing, like mache, corn salad. We've got lots of other things like these bunching green onions. We're going to be planting a ton of these. We've got a lot of our Egyptian walking onions that are going to be transplanted into here also. So I just wanted to give a rundown of what we're doing today and what seeds I'm throwing in the ground and broadcasting and going to water in, and they should sprout relatively quickly because the temperatures, I mean, this morning was 50 degrees, both the doors were open, and I started a fire down there and I closed the door up so I could get extra heat in here. I could shed my sweatshirt and work more comfortably. Sunshine feels great on my face. So, taking a look here, we were sprouting lots of little crops to transplant in also. I've still got tons of crops that I've got to deal with yet. This is a bunch of Thai basil, lots of oregano or wild leeks, spearmints. Got some toothache herb here, lots and lots of sage that's going to be planted in the ground over there. Tons of lavender. We've got chives, our big old aloe that we use for a rooting compound. Just lots going on this side here. And coming over here, we've got this massive rosemary bush. This thing's been growing for, like I said, 5 years. It's got a stalk, like a trunk on it, like a tree. So just looking down the bed here, we've got all of this rich soil. We're going to be broadcasting seeds. This is where we had our trench, and it got warm for maybe a week or so, but now it's relatively cool compared to the other soil. So we did have a hot compost bed for about a week, and now it's all just breaking down. Lots of worms in there. I dug down just to check it out, and they're doing some work on it. So coming down here, we've got this kale. We've transplanted all of these from outside, so I basically ripped every stalk off this kale except the few new shoots. Same thing with the heading collards. I just ripped all of the bottom leaves off. You can see some holes from bugs. So I took all of these as I was transplanting them in, and I dunked them in water, very cold ice water, and it knocks off all of those caterpillars and leafy green eating worms and stuff. So that's a big part of transplanting these crops in here, is making sure we're not bringing pests into the greenhouse. So we've got some decent heading collards that will provide a lot of good food into the winter here. We've got a lot of open space. These are some more kales here. They don't look the best right now, but they're going to start to regrow very quickly. And we dug these up, making sure we did not break any tap roots. So all of the roots are still well intact. You can see a leek right there. Lots of Egyptian walking onions or something along the onion family line here. So we've got lots of little onions popping up, and we are just going to broadcast through all of these beds. Here comes another leek right there. Some more leeks. So we've got 50 feet to grow, 50 feet to plant out, and 50 feet to transplant into. And this is how we're surviving the winter, by using these tunnels. And our geothermal tubes will blow right into the tunnel, creating good airflow and a 50-degree, 55-degree temperature throughout the winter here. This has been a very good investment by digging that 8-foot trench. Oh, we've got all of our green sorrel here too. You can see where I pulled the seed stalk off and it just started to rebound like crazy. A little bit of red vein sorrel. And that's pretty much it today. We're going to get all of these seeds right here sown into the ground and broadcast and watered in very well. And then we are basically just setting up other systems like our compost heater and any type of solar heating system like this little guy here. Lots of little experiments and ideas that just add and compound onto each other to allow us to grow more and more every year. So with that, if there's any questions, drop them in the comments below. I've got to get my pond going. I've got a lot of work to do after I get all these seeds sown in the ground and transplant some more crops into these beds. We're going to pull our pond liner and dig it up and get a massive pond going, a lot bigger than we have now. So if there's any questions, drop them to me. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go.